My Tlingit name is Kahuku. My English name is Joe Nelson. I'm chairman of the board at Sealaska. Today on January 19th, 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. We're doing a session on an orientation for new shareholders. Today, I think we budgeted hour-ish. I think it's an hour. And we've got some time at the end for some question and answers. So folks, if you have questions, feel free to collect them and we'll get to them. There should be plenty of time to get through some question and answers. These corporations have been around for 50 years, and today we're trying to put in a real small nutshell, just a little bit of an orientation to Sealaska for new shareholders, and really spark some thought and then open an avenue to get some dialogue going back and forth for folks to put faces to names and really put out the welcome mat through virtually the best we can here right now. I'm streaming today from our headquarters in Aquan in Juneau. And as all of you know, Sealaska is a regional entity, home to Tlingit and Haida, and we've got our Tsimshian communities down at the southern end down there. And we have shareholders, though, that are really all over the country, all 50 states. We have shareholders, a number of different countries. We have shareholders, but they all have ties to the special place, the special place that we know as home to our various Kwans. My hometown is in Yakutat, grew up in Yakutat. And today we're going to hear from Anthony, our CEO, with some high-level updates in history and information about Sealaska and INCSA. We'll also hear from Vanessa Allen with our shareholder relations and Tesla Cox with our shareholder relations and shareholder development, and then have room for question and answers. We're in a unique time right now in these ANCs, in the sense that we are celebrating our 50 years, but our biggest celebration moment this last year, as we celebrated our 50th, was to continue opening the rolls to our descendants. And there was a sort of arbitrary cutoff, as all of you know, in 1971, a cutoff in the timeline as far as folks that were born after weren't shareholders. You can't be an original shareholder, unless you were alive in 1971. And then the other arbitrary cutoff was the blood quantum, which is required at the time that you be at least 1/4 Alaska Native blood. And out of our 12 regional corporations, half of the corporations have opened up their rolls to the descendants with descendant stock, and then just a couple of us have wrestled with and eliminated the blood quantum requirement. And thank you to all the shareholders who helped make that happen. Both of those moments back in 2007 when we added the descendant stock, and then in just this past year when we went ahead and eliminated the blood quantum requirement for the descendant stock. So goodness sheesh for that. Before I do dive in and hand it to Anthony to share some history about INCSA, I was going to spend just a moment on the blood quantum issue, other than just saying we're one of a couple that have allowed shareholders descendants in, but we've also wrestled with the blood quantum requirement, and so that it's not required anymore. You do have to be a lineal descent still to enroll. You need to have a parent or a grandparent, somebody in the line there that was an original shareholder or is an original shareholder. So there's definitely a requirement that it's connected to the company, the original shareholders. And that's not too different from debates that happen in the lower 48 with a lot of the tribes. Some of them still do require blood quantum. Some do require different levels of blood quantum. Some have just the lineal descent as the requirement. And here at Sealaska, we were the largest corporation when we were created in headcount. We had the biggest group of shareholders. So in many ways, we were the biggest in numbers, but we were also very diverse. And when we have shareholders living all over all 50 states, being a part of Sealaska is going to be something different for everybody. For us, though, it's not all the same as far as the different stock options and how these were built. One of the things that differentiates our program from some of the others is that our descendant stock is available to shareholders or potential shareholders who are at least 18 years old. Some of the other corporations didn't put that age requirement there, but we did. So all of you that are tuning in or new shareholders with descendant stock, or by definition, you're at least 18, and up to 51 years old now. So it's a big pool of descendants here. But there's also a bigger pool that's under 18, and that's one of the biggest factors offsetting the dilution impact is just that you have to wait till you're 18. So parents can't sign up their kids to be descendants with descendant stock. It's literally adults that are deciding to be a part of the corporation. And if you were to sum up the corporation in one word, and if you really had to do it in a nutshell in one word, what's Sealaska about? Well, what are all these native corporations about? They're about the land. Land is the biggest, most powerful one-word summary because these lands were stolen by the federal government, and we sued, and that was the Alaska Native Brotherhood that sued, and then Tlingit and Haida came about, and then ANCSA came about. I'm going to let Anthony go into the history here, but for us at Sealaska, it's so important that all of our new shareholders have, as best we can, some base level understanding of the history of what it's taken to get here, because we all also have obligations to put in our work to pass along our knowledge to our own children, our grandchildren, and to be good stewards of the land and stewards of the water. We need to rely on the knowledge of our ancestors, and it's our job to do better at that, passing those things along, the history of what it means to be tied to the place and a steward of the place. So I'll pause, and there'll be time to jump back in and out and have a little question and answer. But Anthony is our CEO, and our company is a large company with shareholders and businesses around the world. But it's all tied to the special place, and it's been awesome working with Anthony, who's actually just down the hall from me here. So sheesh, Anthony, I'll let you take over, and I'm happy to help along the way. But I know that as a board member, we also have 12 other board members that are very passionate about all of this work and excited to be welcoming all the new shareholders. So don't be shy, anybody, about reaching out to any of us and just learning more about ways to engage. And that's sort of the whole point here. There's a number of avenues to get engaged. So Sheesh, happy to be here Zooming with you. I'm going to go into the background a little bit and wait for the Q&A to see if I can help as we move through this. And thanks to Tesla and Vanessa for helping move us along today. Sheesh.
Gonna cheese, Joe. Gonna cheese to all the shareholders, whether you're a new shareholder or not, a new descendant or a descendant that's enrolled in previous years. Welcome to everybody that's on the line. My Tlingit name is Ganak Yuchat Duasau Tagwadi Ayachat. I'm Tagwadi. I'm originally from Yakutat, and I'm a child of the Quashkekwan from Yakutat, and also a grandchild of the Koyukon Athabaskan. My mother's from Rampart on the Yukon River. Joe offered so many good jumping off points, but I have some slides that I'd like to use just to help with the storyline, because the ANCSA history that I'm trying to tell in 10 minutes, sometimes we struggle to tell the ANCSA history in an entire day session. So a 10-minute look back at ANCSA is one where the use of the visual slides is going to be helpful. And I want to start with this one because our communications team, who I hope you get to know closely, they really want to create engaging moments for our shareholders. They worked hard to highlight and commemorate 2022 as Sealaska's 50th anniversary, and the 50th anniversary of ANCSA was December 18th, 2021. But 50 years is just a moment in time. I think the power of an anniversary like this is the opportunity to look at your history, but then also look at your future. And it was this unique moment in time that we were coming upon that really drove the board to say it is the right time to have this blood quantum vote for our shareholders. 50 years is the right time to take this action. And in my mind, they were so thoughtful about that because they knew the power of all your new voices, the power of all of our new shareholders that have enrolled because of that vote are going to carry us forward for the next 50 years. Before I get into the history, I just want to highlight why history can be important. There's a traditional Native Hawaiian saying that says, you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you are right now. And you don't know where you are right now unless you know where you've been. And so for Sealaska, to think about our 50 years, it was really a chance to understand where we have been. What was our history? How did we get to this place in time right now? And we had to have that grounding before we started thinking about where do we want to go in the future. And for all of you new shareholders, this is just a chance. This is a small snippet of our history. I hope you take to heart the opportunity to look for additional resources of our history. There's videos, there's Sealaska Heritage Institute, Tlingit and Haida, so many different resources that can give depth to that history. But I wanted to give the highlights, as Joe mentioned. We started with the fact that it was 50 years, and the reality is it's way more than 50 years. Sealaska's history includes the 10,000-year history of the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian people living in Southeast Alaska. The recent history begins in 1912 with the foundation, the forming of the Alaska Native Brotherhood, who were the first individuals and entity to fight for our land. There's a famous interaction between Peter Simpson, who was a founding member of the A&B, and William Paul, who was the very first Native in the state legislative, the territory legislature. And Peter asked William, whose land is this? William simply responded, it's ours. And Peter said, then go fight for it. That was the beginning of, as Joe mentioned, land being the core reason for fighting for ANCSA, the creation of ANCSA. A&B was not going to give up. We say it started in 1912. In 1939, and actually earlier, they realized they needed standing with the federal government to continue pursuing land claims. So the A&B actually helped stand up the very first federally recognized tribe in Alaska, Tlingit and Haida Central Council, a critical part of the ANCSA history was TNH's fight in the courts to prove that the Tlingit and Haida were the original owners of Southeast Alaska. And it truly was our history and our connection to our homelands that created that legal outcome that then led to the creation of the Alaska Federation of Natives, AFN. Unfortunately, at the time, I say unfortunately at the time because there was actually a settlement. There was a legal settlement for recognition that Tlingit and Haida people had owned Southeast Alaska for millennia, but there was no land in that settlement. The federal government said, we are going to give you $7.5 million for the taking of over 20 million acres to create the Tongass National Forest and the national park system we have in Southeast Alaska. Clearly not a real settlement. We kept on fighting, and in 1971, ANCSA passed with the help, again, of Tlingit and Haida A and B, individual contributors and leaders from across the state. Every Native grouping in Alaska had leaders that helped make this happen. And it was the largest land settlement for Indigenous people ever accomplished in the world, 44 million acres of land. Sealaska received 365,000 acres within this transfer. And as Joe mentioned again, every one of those acres is dear to us. But when we think of Pa'ani, our homeland, it's really the total 22 million acres of Southeast Alaska that we think about when we talk about our connection to land. It's Yakutat, it's Huna, it's Sitka, it's Ketchikan, Saxman, Heidelberg. Those connections to the traditional homelands of our people is the core of ANCSA, and we never forget it. While the land was the fight, the unique factor that ANCSA created for-profit corporations instead of putting the land into tribal trust status, I believe has led us to really focus on creating financial success within that for-profit structure, with the only aim of creating that financial success is to provide as many benefits that our shareholders and communities prioritize as possible. And so I'll have the chance to highlight some data on the financial success we've created and how that flows through to shareholder benefits. But there's too much to cover in a short session. Tesla and Vanessa are going to help us out in highlighting many of our different programs. But our next 50 years is going to continue the focus on creating financial success so we can continue to increase the benefits for our shareholders and communities, all at the same time maintaining healthy forests across our 365,000 acres of ownership. One point that is so key to Sealaska's history is our commitment to following our traditional core Native values. From day one, Sealaska has focused on following our cultural values, but we had a unique moment in 2010 when Sealaska Heritage's Council of Traditional Scholars added definition and description to our core Native values and gifted those values not just to Sealaska, but for the benefit of all of our people. And we truly believe these core values offer support in corporate settings, in tribal settings, in community settings, in relationship settings, in your individual life. So we want to create as many resources as possible, but right now I'll quickly go through them, hopefully giving you a kernel of insight that sparks an interest and curiosity in learning more, because having these values as the foundation of your decision making just improves the way you live and the decisions you make for yourself, your family, your community. And we truly believe that at Sealaska. Wuchiyach, it represents balance, reciprocity, and respect. There's so much entailed in this value, but at its core, it's how we treat each other. It's how we live in our communities. It's how we live side by side, all living beings within our environment, including the tree people, the Usquani, who we seek balance with. Our culture bearers have so much knowledge, and we've been so fortunate to work with individuals like Kinge Stee, David Katzik, who added depth and made this relevant to us in our daily life. Hafat seen as our strength. When we think of it in a corporate setting, it's our responsibility to train, to strengthen ourselves so we can add value and bring resources back to our people. A lot of individual opportunity for growth within this value, and one that you can find a lot of resources on, again, at Sealaska Heritage Institute, Gold Belt Heritage Institute, so many different partners who live by these values as well. Ta'ani, this is the core of ANCSA. It's how we've lived in our homeland. It's not just the land, it's our relationship with our homelands, both the ocean and the land environment. Hashuka is the special one, and this is the one when we think of the 50 years that we're asking you, our new shareholders, to be involved with. Hashuka represents the wisdom and the values that are gifts to us from our ancestors, from our homelands. And we treat those gifts as precious, and we know that we have to pass that wisdom, those values forward for the benefit of future generations. And so you are now part of this continuum. You have the responsibility to understand how you fit into this continuum, because soon enough, you will be thinking of your next generation who you have to pass on this gift that we have from our ancestors. Wanted to add some additional depth that we live by those values. They are our foundation, but we live them in our workplace based off of 4 additional behaviors that we just think are key to the creation of the financial success and the shareholder and community success that we're looking to create. First and foremost is we need to work together. We need each other. We need strong relationships. We need balance in those relationships. Me sitting in a room by myself, I'm not going to make the best decisions for Sealaska. I need the board of directors. I need our employees. I need our management teams. I need anybody who cares about strengthening our people, culture, and homelands to be part of our team. Curiosity. Our businesses are focused on ocean health. Our team, who you're going to hear from, are focused on the educational and career success of our people. We have people focused on the economic improvement in our communities. We have people focused on healing and wellness in our communities. These are all efforts that are so important that you have to apply. You have to care and apply curiosity to creating both the problem solving and improvement needed to create progress in those important areas of our vision. One that really ties to our values is just humility, respectfulness, honesty, trustworthiness. That's a core of a strong relationship, and you need the strong relationship to be able to work well in a team. All of our teams across the many different sets of employees that Joe highlighted follow this behavior. And you have, because you care about the vision, because you care about creating the financial success that will become shareholder and community success, you're going to maintain focus, clarity, and drive to always add value to the efforts that we are putting forward. And it's working. That's the most exciting part. This time period, 2016 to 2021, Sealaska had the greatest net income financial results it's ever had in its history. And almost more importantly, that financial success has led to shareholder success. 2016, there was 10 million in shareholder benefits annually. We've grown that to close to $30 million in annual shareholder benefits. And before I pass it on to the individuals that can really talk to these programs, I just want to highlight that all of these programs come from our shareholder voice and prompt you to look out for additional engagement opportunities with Sealaska, especially our shareholder surveys. If you see a shareholder survey, it's so important to us to get your voice and your input, because our surveys drive the efforts that we put forward for our shareholders. The very first survey we did said, enhance, revitalize our language and our culture. So we stood up Sealaska Heritage Institute. Surveys throughout the years have highlighted our indigenous languages are at risk. We need more support for our languages. So we bolstered the programs we have within our language. Our communities need support. We heard that both through survey and directly from engaging with our community. So we put a lot of effort into community support, and Spruce Root's focus on that. And almost number one for our entire history has been education, youth programming, and career development for our shareholders. Our scholarship program is such a big part of that. And Tesla and team, who I'll pass it on to, along with Vanessa, are working on just enhancing all of these programs to be more impactful in our shareholders' lives. And we can't forget our elders. We have special elders, dividends, and programs as well. So that's just a taste of Sealaska in the day and now, and I hope it sparks some interest in what is Sealaska gonna be in 50 years, and how will you have been a part of it. So I'll go ahead and pass it to Vanessa and Tesla.
My name is Tesla Cox. I'm the Senior Director of Shareholder Development at Sealaska. My Tlingit name is Kaelteen, and I am Raven Deshiton from the Raven House of Angoon. I've been with Sealaska for a little over 2 years now. It's been great to join this team and work with the shareholder relations team, especially at a really exciting time as we remove blood quantum and are able to bring in so many new shareholders. We've got about 2,200 new shareholders since the annual meeting, and we're getting really close to 25,000 shareholders total. And it's been exciting to welcome you all in and see our corporation grow. I work primarily in shareholder development, where we are providing more opportunities to our shareholders. And as Anthony said, those shareholder surveys are really important, because that helps us to know where we should be investing and what programs you all would like. We look at this really holistically, that we're reaching our shareholders at every age range, from our youth and education through career development and into leadership. So make sure you stay tuned to mysealaska.com/opportunities, where we share new programs that are launching. There's always something new happening. We have a great team working together. So stay tuned for additional programs.
Good afternoon. My name is Vanessa Allen. I work in the Shareholder Relations Department, as stated by everyone here. My Tlingit name is Kus Ka. I am from the Chukanadi clan, and I am the child and grandchild of the Dukdane Tan.
Can you see this now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Tesla. So first thing you want to do is you'll go to mysealaska.com. Right on the home page, there's a sign-in box that you'll see there. And right below the red sign-in button, it says don't have an account yet. Click here to register. That will move you forward. Step one is selecting no, I am not a shareholder, or maybe yes, you are a shareholder. And that will move forward from there to registration step 2, where you will put a valid email address, preferably a personal email address and not like a work email address, because things change. You'll create your password, which will be 8 characters long, 1 number, 1 uppercase and 1 lowercase number. And then you proceed to step 3. It's where you'll enter your first and last name, and you check mark that box saying you are 13 years of age or older. Step 4 is entering your current mailing address. Address 1 is your street, your number and street. Address 2 is for your apartment number, suite number, condo number, and then city, state, and zip code. After you hit create account, you will receive an email to verify your email. So you'll go to your email and confirm your email. When you click that link to confirm your email, it brings you to step 5. And step 5 is we'd like you to go green. Going green means you'll receive your newsletters, meeting notices, any important e-news or shareholder information will come to you via email rather than mail. So after you're all registered and signed in, you can begin the enrollment process. There's a few ways you can access the application. There's either the homepage on My Sealaska, where there's a box that says online enrollment. You can click on that and it'll direct you to the enrollment page, or you can go to services and forms, and it's called Life Estate Enrollment, and that will also bring you to the enrollment page. Once you've made it to the enrollment page, you do a brief overview on the eligibility requirements and what documentation you may need. You'll need your birth certificate. You'll need a current state ID or driver's license. And if your name is different on your ID than what is on your birth certificate, you'll need to provide proof of name change, such as a marriage certificate or something along those lines. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention on the step 2, after you read over the eligibility requirements, at the bottom of that page is the red apply button, and that prompts the application process to begin. This is where you can verify your information, your name, your address, your date of birth, your social security number. Then you'll continue from there. Then you'll be prompted to ask or to answer the eligibility requirement questions. So you must be a United States citizen. You must be a lineal descendant of an original shareholder. The only thing that's changed for the lineal descendant is you no longer enter freely the name. You can actually search for the original shareholder now. So you'll put your original shareholder in the search box and it will pull up the name of the original shareholder, and it will automatically link you to that original shareholder. Let's see, you are not able to enroll if you are enrolled with any other regional ANSCA corporation unless through gifting or inheritance, and you are not able to enroll if you are a member of the Metlakatla Indian community. In between step 4 and step 5, there is the family tree. It's optional, but you can also go back to your My Sealaska profile and enter your family history at any time that you want to. After the family tree is step 5, and that's uploading your required documents. So that's your birth certificate, your ID, your marriage certificate. After those documents have been uploaded, the box above the required documents will say application submitted. We'll be doing a review, and you'll receive an email. You'll receive a direct email from a staff member if we require more information from you. Otherwise, when your application's been accepted and approved, you will receive an automated email informing you that your application's been accepted. If anyone has any questions on how to enroll or just any general shareholder relation, shareholder records questions, you can contact us through the My Sealaska messages. You can email us at records@sealaska.com or the phone numbers provided below.
Thank you, Vanessa. And we have a couple things that we wanted to talk about with you all today as a new shareholder of what to expect for your first year. Dividends are a main thing that you'll hear about. People get really excited about it, and those will be announced usually a few weeks before the actual dividend date. So there'll be 3 different dates associated with dividends. There'll be the announcement, and there'll be a record date. And the record date is the last day that you can change your direct deposit or your address. So it's really important to keep your information current. The record date is also the last day to do a share transfer or to enroll. So if you haven't enrolled yet, or you have family that hasn't enrolled, make sure that they enroll before the record date, a little beforehand, so we have time to process it. And then there will be the actual dividend release date. And the dividends come out in mid-April and mid-November. If you stay tuned to our e-news, you'll see the information as soon as it's released. Our elections, this is, I think, the biggest priority for shareholders is that you make sure that you vote. That's really what your shares represent, is your voice, and how electing our board of directors is really important because that really determines what we do at Sealaska and who we have representing us. So the election materials are mailed in early May of each year, early to mid-May. As soon as those are mailed, online voting also becomes available on mysealaska.com. You'll log in there and you'll see a thing at the top that says vote here. And then our annual meeting is usually at the end of June, and that's live streamed, or you can join us in person. And this year that will be in Klawock. So we're really excited to head down to Prince of Wales. You can, on mysealaska.com, we'll also have the proxy information where you can go and learn more about the candidates, and if there's any special resolutions on the ballot for that year, like the blood quantum resolution, you can find all of that information on My Sealaska. It's really important that you read all of those materials and stay informed on what we're doing at Sealaska. You'll also get the annual report at that time that will have a review of our financials from that previous year, and they've got lots of great stories. The comms team works really hard to make that a beautiful recap of the year for us. Another way to stay informed is to follow our news. We have a quarterly mailed newsletter that goes out to shareholders. If you sign up for Go Green, then that will be sent to you via email. And sometimes there's special editions that come out. We had a special edition on the descendants and a special 50th one. So sometimes there's a little more than 4 a year. It's a great way to learn more and get a deeper dive into some of the programs that we have. We also have a bi-weekly e-news. You want to make sure that you're checking your spam folder too, because sometimes they go there. but that's the best place that you can learn about new opportunities with Sealaska and stay informed. Responsibilities to our shareholders is definitely to read those proxy materials and vote. Also, to keep your contact info updated. It's really important that we can reach you, to share news with you, to send you your dividends, and to let you know about great opportunities we have. It's also important for descendant stock that if you only have life estate stock, you don't need to have a stock will because your shares are non-transferable. But if you have other classes of stock, it's really important that you maintain those stock wills too. And we can help you with that if you have any questions. Get out of here. And another great place to find mysealaska.com/opportunities is where we have information on scholarships, internships, board youth advisors. Some of the opportunities we have open now, our scholarships close on March 1st. Our internships close on Monday. So make sure that all you aunties, you go and tell your nieces and nephews to go and apply. We also just launched Sealaska Abroad, which is an international internship. We have 3 tracks that are available, and those will be based in London for the summer. And the application for that closes on February 10th. So this is something we're really excited to pilot, get some of our shareholders over there in the UK to learn about our seafood businesses. So make sure you're sharing that information. It's all over our social media right now. We also have the board youth advisor position that's open now and closes on March 27th. That's a year-long position where you're working directly with our board of directors and really learning from their leadership. We have student sponsorship. This is where we send students to different conferences like ACES. We'll have that opening very soon to send students to the ACES Leadership Summit that will be in Oklahoma this year. And last but not least, the University of Alaska Fairbanks, all of their e-courses, shareholders are eligible for 10% off. So if you want information on any of these, you can find it on mysealaska.com/opportunities or reach out to us directly. I'll put my contact information in the chat in just a moment. Now we'll do some Q&A if we have time, and then we'll close out. Thank you.
I'm not logged into all the gadgets, so someone's going to have to help
Yeah.
on questions here.
I'm here to help you guys. Thanks, Joe and
Awesome.
Anthony, and thank you, Tesla, for all those exciting opportunities. Thanks to Vanessa. I wish I was eligible to apply for that international internship. That sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, we have a lot of questions, and again, I want to extend a warm welcome to those new shareholders that are joining us, and all of you for tuning in today. The first question we got is from Julie James. Can the new shareholders still apply for left outs? I think Anthony or Joe, one of you could handle that one.
Typically, new descendants qualify for the descendant share class, and you can't enroll in multiple share classes. So if the eligibility that Tesla, Vanessa, Joe described fits the descendant share class, you would be eligible for that.
If on services, if you go to enrollment, it breaks down what the eligibility is for each of the stock classes. So their eligibility would be based on their birth date.
Great, thank you guys. Next question is from Marie Anderson. And she asks, as a descendant shareholder, can my children apply when they turn 18?
Yes, you have to be 18 to apply. So as soon as they turn 18, it could be on their 18th birthday, they can go in and apply, and they will just need to provide their birth certificate linking back to an original shareholder.
Okay. Thanks for that question, Marie. The next one is from Rebecca Haley. Do you have any programs that help people with disabilities?
Matt, maybe worth talking about the donation program and how we support partners like SAIL Catholic Community Services, Meals on Wheels. So we support partners that offer services to those with disabilities.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Rebecca, for your information, our philanthropy program, as Anthony mentioned, does help out several organizations, both in Southeast and statewide. If you have any questions, I'll put my information in the chat. You're welcome to contact me to learn more about what we do. All right.
There's always unique programs though that our partners have, and the shareholder relation team, can help lead you to specific programming if they have details. And it may be a Sealaska program, it may be an SHI, but for many social programs, it's most likely our close partner, Tlingit and Haida.
Next question is from Autumn Shotridge. Hi, Autumn. Are there clear roles of being a shareholder?
I would say the roles and responsibilities are really to vote and to stay informed and to keep your contact information current. So you're getting the information to know when to vote and what we're voting for, and also to stay up to date on new opportunities that you may be eligible for or your family may be eligible for.
Thanks, Tesla. Jacob James has the next question. Are there veterans programs? So do we offer anything specifically for veterans?
We have, if on your My Sealaska account, where you can select if you are a veteran, and we do have, I believe, hiring preference. And going kind of back to the other program, we do partner with a lot of organizations who are philanthropy programs that give back to our veterans.
Yeah. The next question is from Andrew Gachard. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, Andrew. He asks about, are there scholarships for the 2023-2024 year? And
yes,
yes.
There are, and they're open now, and you can also apply for those on mysealaska.com.
Yeah, so we encourage all of you guys out there, if you're currently pursuing a higher education degree, to get on and log into My Sealaska and apply. The next question is for Doreen Hayward. Are there scholarships for pursuing education degrees? So maybe you could expand on what type of educational degrees we do support, Tesla.
Yes, there's scholarships. The scholarship program, I think, is more diverse than some people think. That you can be full-time, part-time, graduate, any degree program, even for vocational programs. So there's a lot of different educational opportunities that are eligible for scholarships. More of that information can be found online. SHI, I believe, also has its own scholarships that are separate for education. Is that right, Anthony or Joe? Do you know more about that?
Yes. But our scholarship bucket that's been around for 30 plus years is generally, the general rule is able to apply to any accredited university or college or VOTEC center. But at SHI, through some partnerships in the region here, in education in particular, there's a number of grant funded programs to become teachers in Alaska that you're able to just jump in full time and pretty quickly get certified as a teacher. And it's an Alaska Native teacher training program that SHI partners with the University of Alaska Southeast on, the PETA's program. It might be shifting names right as we're talking now, but it's been a 20-year partnership with the university here.
Great, thanks, Joe. Another thing too, in addition to all the opportunities that Tesla has shared, hopefully you guys will see, there's a lot of exciting opportunities for our youth and for shareholders of all ages. Another one that we're really excited to share, and this is sort of breaking news, is that we're going to have 3 youth roles for our shareholder participation committees. So our shareholder participation committees comprise of one group in Southeast Alaska, one group in Alaska that's outside of Southeast, and then a third group for outside of Alaska. And so those committees currently comprise of 7 people per committee, and we're going to add an 8th role for each of the 3 committees that will be a youth, sort of similar to the board youth advisor role, and you'll expect to see more information about that over the coming months as we recruit and try to encourage folks to apply. So if you're interested in either the board youth position or one of the youth positions on the shareholder participation committee, we encourage you to apply. We have time for just one more question, and the last one is from Belinda Purser. It's specifically around the Zoom. She wants to know if we're going to be able to share that PDF, and yes, we will be able to share the PDF. We'll have a summary on My Sealaska from that shares some of the highlights from today, and we'll include a link to the Zoom or to the PDF that was shared during the Zoom.
And that PDF also is screenshots of that whole enrollment process. So if you go on My Sealaska and click on the enrollment button, all that information walks you through it too.
Great, thanks, Tesla. And I'll turn it over to Anthony and Joe for some closing words. And again, thank you all so very much for joining us today. And for those of you that are new shareholders, we really appreciate you guys signing up and look forward to connecting with you in the future.
Thank you, Matt. And Joe's going to close us out. So I'll just say good night for joining us today. I really appreciate the chance to speak with you and look for any opportunity for live engagement. We do both virtual and in-person events.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Tesla. Thank you, Vanessa. But more importantly, thank you to everybody that's Zooming or tracking this through. I think this one might be going on Facebook. My closing words, I'll try to keep them succinct and really it's about learning and encouraging lifelong learning and just engagement. You know, Sealaska, this is a Sealaska sponsored event. We're talking about Sealaska, but Sealaska doesn't exist in a vacuum. You know, we know very well that, you know, there's 11 other regional corporations. There's a lot of village corporations. There's tribes in all of our communities, and there's Tlingit and Haida, that's a strong partner, a regional tribe, Alaska Native Brotherhood, Alaska Native Sisterhood, just all these entities that have a lot of alignment and shared vision about the future of our Native people and where we need to be. And it really requires us to have a deeper understanding of where we've been and who we are, which is all tied to the land, all tied to our grandparents, all tied to our traditional living and way of life. And we know that we can't do that ourselves. So we're all in it together, addressing many layers of issues. Some of them we're doing directly ourselves a bit, but a lot of the work we do with partners at Sealaska, along with all the other ANCs, Alaska Native corporations. We have core part of our task is to make money, but we know that there's also, just as, or even more importantly, we're here to make a difference in the lives of our shareholders, of our communities, and those things go hand in hand when you tie it together with our Native values, because we use our Native values to make money and use our Native values to drive all the impact work we do. And at Sealaska, we didn't spend a lot of time on it, but it's woven in throughout the presentation here. The main parts of how we're making a difference at Sealaska, a lot of it does happen through Sealaska Heritage Institute and now through Spruce Root, which are nonprofits. They're affiliated, they're close partners, they're part of the One Sealaska family, but those are on different channels, different websites. They do have different boards, but very much an aligned mission that's looking out for the best interest of the region collectively. And I encourage everyone to do a little study, a little homework through those avenues about just the opportunities there, because we do need more shareholders pulling with us, coming into our entities. These last couple of years I've been getting into some challenges with just the workforce, the talent pool, and hiring. And there's always room to come back home and find meaningful work within our entities at home, but then also abroad and elsewhere, as a lot of you are coming to know. So it's all a big family And that's our approach. So welcome to the family. We have lots of work to do, and it's not really work when you just love what you're doing, and when you're doing is taking care of your communities and working together. That's what it's all about. So we're looking for other avenues to bring folks in, like the participation committees. So there's avenues to step in a little deeper, to find connections and find some passion. So many years ago, I was an intern for a brief spell. I did receive a scholarship here and there from the corporation, but I also received a couple of scholarships from my village corporation, Yakutat Kwan, and I'm also very, happy to be a member of Yakutat Tlingit Tribe and Tlingit and Haida. So with all those entities working together, we're going to be, have a bright future. So I'm going to sheesh and feel free to follow up if your questions didn't get answered. Track down Matt, Tesla, Vanessa, myself, Anthony, whoever you need to. Track us down, and we look forward to more of these Zooms and more face-to-face activity as we get into the spring here. So Kunath Sheesh. I think we're closing here with a video from SHI. SHI, that's a whole nother couple of Zooms on everything they're doing over there. So I think that's how we're going to close this session.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carmelita Estrada, and I am an operations officer here at Sealaska Heritage Institute. And today I'm just going to provide an overview of SHI, who we are, what we do, and how you might be able to get more involved and take advantage of some of the programs that we offer. Sealaska Heritage Institute was created in 1980 as a 501c3 nonprofit. At the time, there was a growing concern among our elders and our clan leaders that the culture could disappear. And they were worried about this, and they needed help to ensure its survival. And that's what they expressed to Sealaska, who then founded SHI to help fulfill that role. So our mission is to perpetuate and enhance Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian culture, while also promoting cross-cultural understanding. We provide a wide range of programming open to both shareholders and descendants equally, regardless of one's blood quantum. SHI operates primarily out of the Walter Soboleff building in downtown Juneau, which we opened in 2015. And just last year, we also opened our arts campus, which now houses all of our arts programming and classes. We partner with multiple organizations, including the tribes, university, and local school districts, to offer a variety of arts, education, and cultural programming, both virtually and in person in Juneau, Anchorage, and throughout the lower 48. We offer a wide variety of educational programming. Our most popular program and award-winning program is the Baby Raven Reads. This program provides family events, monthly literacy kits, and free books for Alaska Native families with children up to 5 years old. We then have our culturally responsive training. This program provides training and resources to educators teaching in our communities, helping them create and implement culturally responsive curriculum and education practices for our Native students. TCLL is what we like to call a school within a school. We partner with Juneau School District to host classrooms in Harborview Elementary, where Tlingit elders work alongside teachers to promote the Tlingit language among children, staff, and families in the program. Raven Rights offers in-school and summer camp programming that allows Alaska Native students, kindergarten through 5th grade, to explore their cultural heritage around traditional foods and resources while improving their writing skills. STEAM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math, provides culturally centered youth programming grounded in Indigenous knowledge and STEAM career connections. This also includes 2 summer camps for both high school and middle school students. The Voices on the Land project focuses on literacy skills and increases the use of the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian languages through performing arts, storytelling, and visual arts for 4th and 5th grade students. This also includes 2 summer camps for students as well. The traditional games are for middle and high school students. Students are able to compete in games that are based on the traditional hunting and survival skills of Native people, like the seal hop or Inuit stick pull. The Indigenizing Education for Alaska is an extension of what used to be the PETAS program. It's in partnership with the University of Alaska Southeast to support current and future Alaskan teachers. And lastly, Hath Latsini is a partnership with 8 Southeast communities to provide college and career readiness programming for Native students to help them identify and achieve their post-secondary goals. We are currently recruiting for a variety of our summer youth programs. I've already touched on some of these camps already, but they include our Arts Academy for high school students, Raven Rights for kindergarten through 5th grade, STEAM Academies for middle and high school, Voices on the Land Storytelling for 5th through 8th grade, and NYO Traditional Games for middle and high school students. And many of these programs do provide travel to Juneau as well, regardless of where your student lives. And you can find this flyer on our website with more information on how to sign up. We have multiple scholarship opportunities available for students pursuing higher education, whether it's at full or part-time status or college or vocational training. The Sealaska Scholarship Program is our largest scholarship program. It's funded by Sealaska Corporation and administered by SHI. The scholarship currently funds over 400 students. The application is open once a year, and it is currently open right now until March 1st. So if you plan to attend school next year for the 2023-2024 school year, be sure to log into your My Sealaska account to access the scholarship application. Those that apply and qualify for the Sealaska Scholarship are also eligible for the Judson Brown Leadership Award and the Ruth Demert Language Award. These provide an additional $5,000 on top of your Sealaska Scholarship Award. We have the IEA Scholarship for Native students pursuing a degree from the UAS School of Education to become a future educator. Then the Ancestors Echoes Scholarship for students pursuing an Indigenous Studies degree or taking language courses. An Arts and Museum Studies Scholarship for students pursuing an Arts and Science degree. The Box of Treasures Scholarship for students pursuing an arts degree from UAS. And we also have 2 summer internship programs for those pursuing an arts and science degree or those in the museum studies field. Our arts programming is provided both in person and virtually. We just opened our brand new arts campus building this last summer, which hosts all of our classes and art-related programming. Some recent classes include weaving spruce root baskets, weaving choka and raven's tail, carving wood and metal, making drums, sewing moccasins, and skin sewing with seal and sea otter. We host our classes throughout the Southeast region, along with Anchorage and the lower 48. We have the following upcoming art classes that range from carving to sewing to formline drawing and beading. We also have a weekly open wood lab on Saturdays with Ray Watkins in our arts campus, where anyone can come to either gather with other artists or get assistance on your projects. SHI's media team also produces a variety of printed and online resources. I've listed just a few titles here, but you can check out our website for a more complete listing of all of our publications. We've published over 50 texts in-house. We also co-publish pieces with the University of Washington Press. Some of our publications include our 31 Baby Raven Reads books, one of which, Our Salmon Boy, has won the American Indian Youth Literature Best Picture Book Award. These books are provided for free to our families enrolled in the Baby Raven Reads program and are also available for sale in our store. One of our more recent projects is the Box of Knowledge series, which is a combination of 12 scholarly essays, reports, and books on Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian cultures, history, and languages. Our culture, history, and archives programming includes regular lecture series on a variety of topics. These can be attended in person or virtually, and they're also saved to our YouTube page to access at any time. We also maintain a rotating exhibit in the Walter Soboleff building. We just wrapped up our juried art show exhibit from Celebration 2022 and are working on installing our next exhibit with the theme of Alaska Native women, and that will open to the public in May. Our building also houses our archival collection and library. You can browse the items we have using our online database or by setting up an appointment to stop by in person. We also offer our climate-controlled vault to clans who wish to store their clan-owned objects in a safe and cared-for space where they're free to check out at any time. SHI also has a store located in the lobby of the Walter Soboleff building. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, and launching next month will be our online store so you can shop from anywhere. The store features over 200 Alaska Native artists from throughout the state. If you are an artist and interested in being represented in the SHI store, you can contact us by email or by phone. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with our biannual event Celebration. Celebration 2024 dates have been set for June 8th to the 11th. If you plan to attend, be sure to make your reservations now, as accommodations in Juneau are already filling up. Celebration 2024 will feature dancing, an artist market, poetry gathering, juried art show and youth art exhibit, toddler regalia review, native food contests, and grand entrance, exit, and parade, and storytelling. If you missed previous celebrations or just want to rewatch some of the previous performances, you can go to our YouTube channel where we have some performances uploaded and are continuously working to upload more. Lastly, if you haven't already and you want to stay up to date on our programming, you can connect with us on any of these platforms. You can sign up for our e-newsletter by visiting our website, scroll to the bottom and enter your email. That is the best way to receive all of our announcements and news. If anything today sparked your interest and you want to learn more, whether it be about how to sign up for a scholarship or how to get your child into camp, you can get all of that information directly from our website at sealaskaheritage.org or send us an email at heritage@sealaska.com.
And that concludes our Zoom for today. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.